International recording legend Denny Zager of Zager Easy Play Guitars, and writer of In the Year 2525, the biggest one-hit wonder in world recording history, selling over 20 million records.
Here in Las Vegas again, only here a couple days. Got hung up, gonna go visit some other places, but had a little time here, so I thought I'd get out the tripod and go through some things for you. I haven't used a flat pick in quite a while. There's a lot of things you can do naturally on a flat pick. You can get, you know, muted sounds. Now, you can, I was once a side musician too. It's been a long time since I've worked in groups and things like that. That's one of the reasons why I started doing the fingerstyle, because I remember so many times years coming off the road, and I come home for Christmas and friends stop by and say, hey, you know, you've been gone for quite a while on the road, let me hear you do some things. And I'd always find myself kind of hung up. I could bend notes, you know, do licks, or, well, I can't even do a lot of things that I used to do, but I'd do some licks and stuff, and by themselves they say, oh yeah, that's pretty neat. But it wasn't anything like working with 4 or 5 pieces, because you had the bass, drum, and all the stuff. My main bag at that point was, you know, arranging. What does the bass player do? What kind of rhythm do you work? You don't do the same thing on 2 guitars. You vary them. And naturally, the drum, what they're doing in the year 2525 was a good example. I was always messing around with new things, and on stage, you could have 5 people. Well, that wasn't always an advantage if they weren't doing the right things. If you didn't arrange it right and make it exciting to listen to. The flat pick, as I started out to say, you can get a lot of percussive sounds off of it, and which were neat now, mixed in with the drummer and the bass player, and you can get a super good rhythm section. And but again, to finish up with what I was saying, I'd come home off of the road and discover that, you know, doing licks and everything, just, you know, you can impress people by doing all kinds of things like that on the guitar if you've been around it long enough. But to really make it come alive, you need a bass and drum, what we call a rhythm section. And naturally, I studied voice for many years too, the Dame Nipo Tulabe, the things I got into, things like Andrea Bocelli, and still am. I'm a great fan of his. Best in the world to me as a vocalist. And if you listen to 25 close, you can see hear a lot of the voice, you know, the power, breathing, pronunciation, vowel sounds, whatever that you learn with the voice. And getting back to where I was, however, I just I kind of changed my situation. You can't do Bach and Beethoven with a flat pick. And the flat pick is kind of a different world. Speaking of picks, I have a genuine Zager pick. I designed this. It has, its shape is large enough that you can get 3 fingers on it. And it bends real well. If it gives a little bit, you can, you don't have to, that's not the Avenue, a bull in a china shop. But the pick, for example, 25-25. I was the one that did that. Doing all sorts of things for variations. Well, it gives it kind of a suspense sound, and that fit into the picture. In the year 25-25, what's it going to be like? But you can, with flat picks, you can do some really neat things. And but within the fingerstyle category, naturally, you've heard a lot of my stuff that I put out: fingerstyle, bass, lead line, chord structure, rhythm, all that stuff coming out of one guitar. So consequently, I haven't been doing nightclubs and stuff for that like that for a long time. And it was a situation where I got off on my own doing a lot of the fingerstyle, and as I said, Bach and Beethoven and classical and so full arrangements by myself. And I learned a lot from it. I learned a lot from working in groups, but then turning around and working on my own. I can remember a lot of times working single acts with the voice and the flat pick. I used the finger styles to back myself up. This was my orchestra and my voice. And so I got a lot of practical experience in a lot of directions. And 40 years, you know, messing around with the guitar doesn't hurt anything. But I enjoyed a lot of that. Of course, you have personality clashes and all that stuff in groups. You can't keep them together. You want somebody that's ambitious and wants to work with you. That doesn't always happen either. That's one of the reasons why I always liked the style that I was working with. I learned to do it. If you want something done right, you do it yourself, the old saying. So I used all those tricks, and the teaching didn't hurt either, because I had to explain everything to the student, doing a lot of different things, trying all sorts of things. You know, sitting here in Las Vegas thinking, damn, you know, I probably ought to go visit a couple people. We sell quite a few guitars to people, anything from Celine Dion to whoever down here. And naturally, I'm wondering how they're doing with their new pieces and stuff like that. And you get it from the horse's mouth. I like to see the entertainment, so forth too. I haven't seen much entertainment down here in a long time. And so I suppose before I leave, I'll hit a couple spots and maybe run into a few people. But anyhow, finish up with the flat picks. Shape should be right. I got that flutter. In other words, it isn't noisy, but it gets a certain effect. And I couldn't do that with the pick. You know, I leaned it sideways and there's a curvature on here. So I lean it to the side and get a sound effect that way. Just you have to do it just right. You can't get it too scratchy. But sound effects are a lot good with the flat pick. And when you're you can't do it. Well, you can do certain things in finger styles, but it's very folkish. It isn't. You're not beating on the guitar, but when you do beat on it, might add, this soft bendable pick, you're not tearing the strings out. You're not pulling them out of. You know, if you listen to this thing, it's not perfect, but when you work with a thin pick, you're not pulling those strings out of tune. I very seldom am reaching up here to tune up. To me, you know, your listener didn't come to listen to you tune up. They came to listen to you play. And if you have a light, thin pick, and I go light all the way. Yeah, I'm not. My fingers aren't sore. I'm not beating on the guitar really hard. I have a finesse about it. It's in fact, a lot of times when I pick into a rhythm, you could just take that pick right out of my hand. I'm not holding on to it for dear life. That's a brittle sound. And so there's a lot goes into a flat pick. Just because people don't play fingerstyle or they play flat pick doesn't make them a good or a bad musician. They just got their own style, which it should be. That's why you come to listen to artists. If they all sounded the same, same old, same old. So there's a lot to think and keep in mind when you're an entertainer. And I did all sorts of things, gave me all kinds of experiences. So music in general is quite sophisticated, and working in a group can be extremely difficult in a lot of ways, personality-wise, and getting it together and putting a good solid rhythm section, making it come off right. So as usual, I'm off the cuff here. Covered a lot of things here today, but as I said, music is a sophisticated area, and if you're going to do it right, you spend a lifetime like I have. Started at 6 years old, and I'm 72 now. I'm still here. So, hope you enjoyed this session. I'll probably be out of Nevada here before too long. But I always enjoy myself when I come down, and take it easy and good food and whatever. So that's where everything comes out. Give us a listen again. Thanks for listening. Later on. Thanks. Bye.